Hello, everybody, and welcome to Late Night Football. I am smiling on the outside, but not on the inside because of what we just saw this afternoon, and I needed some time to reflect. And I've had a bit of time to cool down. I hope all the United fans have had a bit of time to cool down. I hope all the Arsenal fans have had a little bit, have had their gloating session as well. But as I mentioned yesterday, we are having a very special episode today, and it is very special because normally we have Arsenal fans on the show, we have United fans on the show. We normally have them from separate locations. This is the first time that we are having an Arsenal fan and a United fan from the same location. So welcome Helen and Mike to the show. Very great to have you. How are you guys doing?
Right, good. Well, like you said, not so well on the inside.
I'm excellent, thank you.
Yes, and I can see, as you guys can see, Mike is rocking his United jersey, which is a bold choice. I wouldn't have gone with that today, but we know that Mike's a United fan, in case you were wondering, and Helen is Arsenal fan. I think in some ways it's better that Arsenal won. I think Mike, I think just for the general mood. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But let's get into it. Let's talk about the game today, and I mean, there's so much to talk about. Let's, we normally talk about the big clubs here, but let's leave United for a bit. Let's start with Arsenal first. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. So I have to get a dig in. I have to get a dig in, don't I? No. Okay. Here's one thing I'll say though. I did my preview show on Friday, and I don't know if you guys watched it. But I have always said this, that I would never ever I am never confident about a United win or even a positive result of a draw. And I predicted a draw. And I've just realized that I'm never ever going to back United for a win or a draw going forward this season. So if you're watching the show from the next week's preview show, I'm never ever going to back United for a win or a draw. And don't call me negative. That's just what it's going to be from this point, because I'm over it. I really hate this team. Anyway, but Helen, so we said that Arsenal were probably going to put a back five. They were going to be defensive. They were going to park the bus, and it was wrong. I was wrong. They actually had a pretty aggressive approach. They were pressing hard. They were attacking. I didn't expect it. Did you expect this from Arsenal? Did you think they were capable of something like this?
No. When I saw the lineup, I was like, "Oh, awesome! He's really going for it. Three up front." But I was also like, well, it's a bit foolhardy. But you know what? At least that I appreciate that Arteta was sending them in with a positive mindset. So yeah, it's nice to. I think Arsenal struggled a lot with confidence the last few years, so it was nice to see, kind of going in with that, not like, oh, we're just going to try and make the best of this mentality, but no, we're really going to go for it.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. It was interesting watching that game and watching Arsenal press. It felt like a mini City. I will say that, because we got like the aggressive pressing. There were always like two or three people going towards the midfielders for the ball. There was the tactical fouling, obviously, which is he picked that up from City. I think there should have been a couple of yellow cards, but the ref was a bit soft. But I'm not upset. I'm not upset. But Mike, this is the thing. Luis and Mustafi didn't start this game. How much of a blow do you think that was for Manchester United that those guys didn't start the game? I'm kidding. I'm joking. But yeah, but not having those two does make a difference to that team. I think Rob Holding and Gabriel did a good job, really, of holding.
Yeah, it was amazing. But I kind of felt like, sometimes there's such an old rivalry between the teams. Like, if you put someone like Luis on the pitch, like, you didn't know what was going to happen. I thought if they'd started him, then maybe they were kind of going for fisticuffs. So it was good to leave the more hot-headed players on the bench, I think.
Yeah, well, there might have been a red card, and there probably would have been a red card in that game. So, I mean, we almost had.
Okay, can we just not talk about the red card, please?
There should have been a red card.
There probably should have been, yes, and we'll get into it. But I'm just trying to get the Arsenal stuff a little bit out of the way, because I think we need to give credit where it's due. Before we get into rants, because when we talk about United, we're going to get into rants, and so I want to keep it constructive. But I think on that. Let's talk about Man United, and let's talk about the team selection. Mike, do you think I have my view on it, but do you think he got the team selection right for today's game?
Mostly. United had a few good matches there with Pogba starting on the bench. I think it's time to start giving Van de Beek maybe a start, give him more time. I mean, for the most part, it was the team that played PSG, played RB Leipzig. Is that right? Sorry, in the Champions League,
Yep.
and did incredibly well. I was saying to Helen during the match, it's strange that we can beat two very, very good teams in the Champions League and can't seem to muster a decent shot in the Premier League. So, yeah, I mean, it's Greenwood had a decent match. He had a chance. So it's been mostly the same team, but United's been doing well when for some reason Pogba starts on the bench and comes in later on.
Well,
So
he did
I,
start the game on Wednesday. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I have my views on Pogba, and I think I will talk about them. Maybe I won't have spoken about this so much. I think people might be a little bit tired of it now. But I think we'll address that. What I thought was that I thought the diamond worked well against Leipzig,
Mhm.
and you expect him to start with the diamond, but I've always felt that with the diamond, it is really a surprise formation where if you use it once in a while, you can really catch opponents out. But if you
Mhm.
have time to prepare for it, it's very easily countered. And I think Arteta was a good enough manager to figure out that there was
Mhm.
space on the flanks and that he could just use that and box
Every
United.
time someone talks about Diamond, it makes me think about England under Sven-Göran Eriksson and how he kind of brought that in. And I think after a while, people just started to hate it, and they
Mhm.
would just kind of wish that he would do something different. So it just makes me laugh when I hear that
Yeah.
someone's
Well,
used that
I think
now.
I think this is more of a midfield diamond. It's not the two wide players. I think it's the
Oh,
two central
okay.
midfielders that sit in, and then your strikers become sort of wingers thing. But it works sometimes. But I've always found that you cannot use it over an extended period of time. Like you can use it for 1 or 2 games, but then eventually teams figure it out. But that is my opinion. I know some people like it, and I know he did change it in the
Mhm.
second half when he moved to a 4-2-3-1. And he tried to play Pogba on the left, which yeah, I think that experiment needs to end. I think that's the second time he's given a penalty away. But speaking of penalty, was it a penalty, Mike? I'm not going to ask Helen, but was it a penalty?
Yeah, actually, you know what? Maybe you should ask me. Well, I'll let Mike go first.
Um, was it a penalty? He did catch his foot, and I think he's going for the ball, but he catches the foot, and I think it was a penalty. I mean, it wasn't the best play by Pogba in the end. I mean, he put himself in a bad position, so I don't think you could really argue the call. I mean, the angle showed that he clipped the foot. So what are you going to do? It was in the box.
Actually, I don't know. Like for me, the
Mm-hmm.
camera angle that I saw the replay on, I mean, maybe it was the angle, but I just thought, well, it was clearly not intentional, and it almost looked like the foot kind of went to the ground side, not necessarily on top of the foot, if you know what I mean. So I thought it was a bit of a harsh call, actually, but I'm not complaining about it. I mean, who was the ref? Was it Mike Dean?
Mike Dean.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's very experienced. I'm sure. I'm sure. I mean, he's much more experienced than me. I'm sure he got it right.
Well, apparently he's an anti-Arsenal fan. I don't believe that after watching today's game, but that's what
Oh,
some people.
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
No, I think I thought it was stupidity from Pogba because I think once you put your foot out like that, you better win the ball or you're gonna give away a penalty because even if
Yeah.
even if the ref doesn't catch it, VAR will catch it. But I do believe it was
Mhm.
one of those that if the ref hadn't given it, VAR would not have given it. So it's one of those
Mm.
calls. But
Yeah.
it's yeah. I mean, he seems to have this in his game. Every once in a while, he'll do something that makes you wonder why is he doing it. And yeah, I mean, I'm a bit mellow right now. I was actually pretty upset, but at the time, but I mean, there's so many issues with the team, and it just feels it's always one step forward, one step back with
Mm.
United. But anyway, it is what it is. Mike, where do you see Manchester United going from here now for the upcoming games? Like, what are the changes that you would like to see?
Mm. Well, like I said, I think it's time to maybe give Van de Beek a bit more of a run in the team. Um, I mean, overall, I think the defense has been doing okay. I'd like to see Brandon Williams given some time. I think he's a lot more sort of positive in many ways than Shaw. I find Shaw tends to kind of slow the play down a little bit. Although I thought today in the second half he was not too bad. So yeah, and
Speaking of left backs, would you rush Alex Telles back next weekend if he's available? Like he's had COVID, so he's out, but he will
I don't
be.
know. If I would think they want to do something similar to what they've done with Van de Beek and kind of work him in slowly. I have to admit I don't know too much about Telles, so he's a bit of an unknown to me.
He's a very positive left back. Like his
Yeah.
biggest asset is his crossing. So he can really cross the ball
Okay.
very well, and he takes corners, he takes free kicks, he can take penalties too. But we've got Bruno for that. If we ever need them, we don't seem to be getting many of them now. But
Yeah.
but his strength is he's more positive and offensive. I think Brandon Williams this year probably will be the backup right back. So he may start against Istanbul at right back if they decide to list him. So that's because he's right-footed.
I think we've been missing Martial as well in the Premier League because certainly in the restart over the summer, Greenwood, Rashford, and Martial were pretty deadly at times because they're so quick, the three of them. So I think we've been kind of missing him also. So it'd be good to get him back. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Solskjaer's got a pretty good idea of his his first 11. I just would like to see maybe some Van de Beek give some time, Williams or Telles get some time. I wouldn't mind seeing maybe Lindelof sitting a bit and Tuanzebe. Because I think it was Swansea played really well against was it PSG? I can't remember. Yeah,
PSG.
He was superb, and now he's been on the bench for.
He's come back from a big injury. I don't think he was supposed to start that game, but I think he will start against Istanbul. I'm assuming there will be changes against Istanbul. So, and then there's Everton after that, and I'm not confident about that game at all. That would be an interesting clash. But I mean, that changes will need to be made. I think the reason why he starts with Fred and McTominay is because he wants to play Pogba, and you cannot play Pogba in central midfield unless you give him that protection. So. I would like to see Fred and Van de Beek or McTominay and Van de Beek starting in those two roles, those two midfield roles, and then figuring out. But I mean, the wing situation is going to be interesting. But there are changes. But there was another team, and I know sometimes you don't give attention to the smaller teams in these wins when they win like upset wins. I'm kidding. I'm joking. Okay, fine. That's my last take for Arsenal. I think that's the last one. No, Arsenal played.
We watched it on DAZN, and then. Paul Scholes was like getting really angry in the post-match commentary. He was like, "Well, I just wouldn't expect them to do so badly against an average team like Arsenal." And he was just sitting there like saying that to Ian Wright's face, and Ian Wright was like,
So that actually was my question. Such a nice way, but that was my question. Everyone thinks Arsenal is average team. Are they average though? Are they underrated? I always feel that Arsenal are underrated. I think they're much better than what they show or what people think they are. What do you think, Helen? Do you think Arsenal are average? I don't think they're average.
I think they're kind of going. I actually do agree what was said on the post-match commentary. They're going through a transitional phase right now. I don't necessarily think they're fully consistent. They have great games, and then I think like for example, Leicester last weekend just kind of tailed off. But they played really, really well today, and they just need to keep that up and try to, do it consistently, no matter who they're playing. I also, what I've heard is that it's something to do with there's like a real culture change going on in the team because. Ivan Gazidis left, and then I think only recently the last of the team that he had, the management team, has now gone, and now there just needs to be a lot of work to be done to bring it back to the old days and the way it was. And Arteta is working on that, but it's not going to happen overnight. We brought some great players recently. There's some interesting people to watch. I was excited by.
Partey, he looked very good.
Yeah, and that kind of showing that hunger for the ball and like winning it back. That there was like a long period that Arsenal was just so complacent and didn't have the confidence to do anything. So I think you definitely need more players like that. But we're definitely not there yet. We're not like we're not like
yeah, I mean, they're
Liverpool
not
or
title
anything.
challengers, but I definitely think that they are top 4 contenders. I know a lot of people think that they're not, but they are. And I mean, I know. I mean, to me,
Too
it's
early. It's too early to call it.
well, I don't know. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all we are about what quarter seven, yeah, about a fifth of the way into the season now. We played 7 games, so we are about almost a fifth of the way. So
I just
20%
can't
of the
get my
season done.
hopes up. It's been just years and years and years and years and years of disappointment, and so just because like this, I feel it's like some green shoots poking through, like small pieces of hopefulness, but I'm not gonna get excited just yet.
Well, that's what we're here for, to build up your excitement and then to tear it down when it all goes. That's the job. Don't worry, Helen. I will make sure that I exaggerate those green shoots for you, and that eventually, when they are torn off, then I will be right here. But no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, but I do sincerely
Not
believe that
right.
Arsenal are better than what a lot of people let on. I think they're a lot better than they let on as well. But you talked about bringing back to traditions and the old Arsenal. It seems like the old Arsenal 1-0 to the Arsenal, wasn't that the stereotype? I think that's the scoreline today, wasn't it? 1-0 to the Arsenal.
Well, that was like kind of even pre. I'm not the glory days that I'm talking about, isn't it? Like the Invincibles era. That the 1-0 was kind of before that, when people accused
The
them of being
80s,
boring all the time. They're not.
the
I
80s
don't
and
think
the
they're boring
90s.
anymore.
But this has the potential to be I think can this be a transformative win in some ways, because it's very unmodern Arsenal like there was a lot of aggression, there was a lot of defensive solidity. By the way, a big stat here, I don't know if you guys know, Arsenal now have the best defense in the league. That's what they have, where they are now. A lot of people are surprised with that, but yeah, make of that what you will. They have the best defense in the league right now. Skewed a little bit because of Liverpool
My
conceding
fantasy
7.
team.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can have a few Arsenal players in your fantasy team defense. But it does feel like it's changing. And do you feel that it's now that this win could be a precursor for better things to come?
Oh,
Maybe not this season,
you
but
asked me to
maybe in the
jinx
future.
it. I don't know. Let's see how they get on next weekend. They've got Villa, I think. And they've had a really
Villa had a
great
bit of a
start.
downward spiral. They lost as well today, so
They did, but
yeah.
well, they did. They came back like it was 4-3 in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
4-0 to
I don't
4.
know. I'm not writing them off. So I know. I just think you can't just win one game and do really well, and then say, "Oh, this is it. Now we're going to be amazing from now on."
Yeah, like United.
I know, right? Yeah.
So let's see.
Yeah, no, it is going to be interesting to watch the season. People say it's a strange season, but I think we're starting to see things settle a little bit now. I think Everton and Aston Villa have sort of dropped off a little bit from their start. Spurs are in second after they won today, and I think that's well, I mean, if there's one bad news for Arsenal fans today, it's probably that. I mean, that's a small bit of inconvenience.
Actually, annoys me is like Son is my fantasy captain, and he only got 2 points. So I don't mind if Spurs win as long as he gets all the goals. Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
Well, it's fantasy Premier League. It does not know club rivalries.
Yeah,
but
it means that there's always like, even if your personal team does badly, there's always like a consolation prize if your fantasy team does well.
Yes, well, I wouldn't know that. My fantasy teams never do well because I'm obviously bad at this prediction game and stuff. Yeah, I gave up on that, but that's all right. Mike, who was your man of the match?
Overall?
Yep.
I
don't think you can pick anyone from Man United, so yeah, I don't want to make it hard for you.
Yeah.
You can pick an Arsenal player if you want.
No, man of the match. I mean, Aubameyang. Yeah, had a good match, I'd say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm quite excited by Partey's performance. Yeah,
he played well too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's clear. It's always exciting when you have a new player and they start to show something, some real spark, something that the team hasn't had for a while. So.
Yeah, I think man of the match for Arsenal was, in my opinion, was probably Paul Pogba. But I'm kidding. But no, I think for me it would probably be Elneny. I think he had an underrated player. I think I've heard a lot of good things about him from the game. So I think he had a pretty good game, Elneny. I know a lot of people don't rate him, but yeah, he had a pretty good game. Mike, are you all in, all out after this one?
I still say Ollie in. I mean, I find it strange that ever since he got the job permanently, everyone's been waiting for him to get fired. And I think much like Helen mentioned and you mentioned about Arsenal, I think he's had to do a lot of work behind the scenes. And I think that's still going on in terms of moving players out, changing the culture, changing mentality, that kind of stuff. And everyone's like, oh, they say he's tactically not very astute, but I think he's shown that he is. I think sometimes there's just things a manager can't do when players decide either not to play or they don't bring the same kind of intensity or ambition as the other team. I mean, he can only do so much. But I think he's, I'd like to see him given a chance. So overall, his transfers have been very good. The players he's brought in. I mean, obviously, as many say with United, the board's not really always backing him as much as they should, and Woodward is a bit of an issue. But the transfers he's made have all done really well. I mean, Daniel James has tailed off a bit, but he seems to be going through some confidence issues, I think. But
I'm on the fence about Harry Maguire, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think Maguire needs a different partner than Lindelof, and I think Lindelof's okay, but I think another center back could sort of make the step up, so to speak, make things a little better back there. But yeah, I don't know. I say let him stick with it for a little while. And I think United at least has done that right, so to speak, is that they haven't fired him or let him go just yet. They're actually trying to they're trying to give him time. And you can see the signs. I mean, United went on a 14-game unbeaten streak last season and caught two teams and finished third. And we were way behind Leicester and Chelsea when at the restart. So, that there's evidence of what he can do in the team. And I think also the recent games against PSG and RB Leipzig. I mean, Leipzig's leading the Bundesliga. PSG, they were, yeah.
Not anymore. They were.
And PSG is the Champions League finalist, and we outplayed both those teams. I mean, we beat Leipzig 5-0. I mean, we had a really great final half an hour to seal the match, but those are good signs. So yeah, I'm happy to see him. See if he can kind of ride it out, so to speak. Yeah.
I think he. I'm not all the out for sure, but I feel like he needs to make some decisions on some players. And I mean, he's got to. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be a way to sort of. I don't know. Maybe he's overindulgent with Paul Pogba, but he needs to sort that one out. And I think he also needs to sort out that centre back issue. I think one of them, either Maguire or Lindelof, I think one of them needs to now make way for Tuanzebe to come into the team.
And that would be Lindelof, I think. Maguire's
because the price tag would be Lindelof, but I'm not so sure if either one of them is deserves to be I don't know which one is better of the two. I think both of them are on the same level, which is not to say that they're both very good. I think they're both very average, but he has to, but one of them has to come off, and I don't know which one it will be. But I think those decisions need to be taken for that to change. But that will happen. I think he's safe for now. I think he'll probably make it through the next game. I think if he loses against Everton, though, I think then we'll probably have to start doing a Ole Sack watch thing on this channel.
At the end of the game today, he had a look on his face of a guy who was fearing for his job, I felt.
No, I think he had a look on his face like, the players didn't play.
Yeah.
I actually don't think he... I think
he's just very emotionally invested, and I think when the team loses, he doesn't like it. Like you see that on his face every time when they lose. He's not. I mean,
he's profoundly competitive. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think he can fear for his job anymore because I think after every game his job is on the line. So I think he's past that point of worrying about whether he's going to get fired or not. Because it's just it's a stressful situation. But on that note, thank you so much, Mike and Helen, for joining me today for this show. Very unique. I was expecting a few daggers maybe flying down, but no, I didn't. That's good. That's good.
No. Like the first time that Arsenal and Man U played each other, we've been dating for like a couple of weeks or something. So we had to learn how to navigate it very early on in our relationship. I mean, he's much more generous than me. You're right. If Arsenal had lost, I would be a lot shittier on this.
Well, I probably would not have been able to make the jokes as well if Arsenal had lost. And that probably would have. I would have had to tone it down a lot. Yeah, but nonetheless, I think we've covered a bit of ground. I think we've got a lot to look forward to this week. There's 2 more games left before we come into another international break. So we've got Manchester United are going to go up against Istanbul Başakşehir in the Champions League on Wednesday. We may do a match reaction show for that Champions League match day. We'll see. We'll think about it. We'll see how that goes. And then of course Arsenal United play Everton on Saturday. So that's another big game to look forward to. By the way, Ellen, if you're wondering, the Champions League that happens on Wednesdays. I know Arsenal don't play in that anymore. But
you know what? I do actually remember from the time when we were in the Champions.
Yes, and it's been it's what 3-4 years now. Yeah, I mean we've got just 1 year of it, and we're not going to be in it next year. So we might as well enjoy the digs while we can. So by the way, here's an interesting one. Arsenal actually play Molde next in the Europa League, and guess whose ex-former club is Molde? It's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who's the manager of Molde. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so that'll be another little bit of maybe Molde can take some revenge on behalf of Solskjaer, maybe Arteta can once again put another stake. I don't know. And then of course, as Helen mentioned, on Sunday Arsenal will take on Aston Villa, and that will be a good game. It might have been a top 4 contenders clash a couple of weeks ago. That might have been the case, but I think it's fair to say that this is probably more like Arsenal, top 4 contenders, Aston Villa more mid-table contenders. So that's probably where that's going right now.
It's so what's exciting about the season. Anything can happen.
I think people say that, but I think we're past that point where anything can happen. I think we're kind of getting more consistent results and more expected outcomes, according to me anyway. I know people say that anything can happen. If Jota hadn't scored that goal, I would have said yes, anything can happen. But then he scored that goal in the 85th minute, and now I've lost all hope of anything can happen. But anyway, next. It's been a tough week. All the teams won except for one, which the one team that needed to win that didn't win. So it is sad, but nonetheless, I know it's nighttime. I know we got a long day ahead of us, but thank you so much, Mike. Thank you so much, Helen. Helen, I will see you tomorrow. Wink, wink. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a good night. By the way, if you guys enjoyed this video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're new, we have reached 110 subscribers. I think it works when we put small goals, because I was keeping on saying 200 and we never went past 110. But as soon as I said let's get to 110, we got to 110 within a day. So let's get to 120 now. Let's keep a small goal of getting us to 120 subscribers. So I know Mike and Helen have already subscribed. You guys are subscribed, right, to the channel?
Yes, 100%.
Yes, they've already subscribed. So you guys can also follow in the footsteps of our role models, and you can also subscribe to the channel. Yes, and Helen is already creating YouTube accounts for her kids, so they can subscribe as well. So yeah.
Right.
No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. No. You do not need to do that. But yes, please do subscribe and please do like and tell us what you thought about this game and about this episode. Share your thoughts. I know we all need to do a bit of group therapy as United fans. So, let us know if you feel like wanting to vent, if you feel like wanting to rant, please feel free to do so. And if you're an Arsenal fan and you've enjoyed all the partying and all the gloating, if you want to, come back down to earth, feel free to watch this video as well. Always happy to help you with that. But thank you so much, guys. Have a good night. See you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Rohit. Take care. Have a good night. Bye.